If I had to restart my whole entire Amazon FBA journey and go back to 100K a month, this is exactly what I would do to get there as fast as humanly possible. For context, it took me 9 months to hit my very first six-figure month selling products on Amazon, and by that point, it was my full-time job. The reason I mention that is this goes without saying, this is going to take a lot of work on your end to make $100,000 in revenue on Amazon. Obviously, doing about 100K revenue, you're probably profiting anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000 every single month in profit. This is pretty average to really good margins as an arbitrage wholesale RA seller. Now, I mentioned all three of those because they all go hand in hand and they're all pretty much the exact same business model. The way you purchase your products is the only different factor. But as far as everything else in the business, analysis, all that kind of stuff, managing inventory is all pretty much very similar. So there's going to be 5 total different pillars that I'm going to have to explain to you guys in this video to fully understand exactly what's going to be required for us to get to 100K revenue. The first pillar is actually picking the correct business model. Now, you already watched my videos, you know what kind of business model that I talk about, but I'm going to go over all 3 of them and explain why or why not I would be going with these if this is what I'm trying to accomplish, which one's going to get you there as fast as possible, and which one's the more riskier model. I'm obviously going to talk about how much money is required to get to 100K because with this kind of business, doesn't matter what kind of business you do on Amazon, you have to cough up the money up front. So if you want to pursue Amazon, private label, online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, wholesale, doesn't matter which one you have to do. We are supplying the money up front for the inventory. So obviously capital is a big component and there's no way you're going to hit 100K revenue unless you're actually spending the right amount of money to get there. There's obviously ways to go ahead and get access to more money once you need it. But first things first is you need that proof of concept, which I'm going to show you in this video because I'm actually going to show you how to source products too, to get, the types of products you need to actually spend the money on. Not only am I going to show you how to source, but also show you how to analyze the products properly. And this is the exact same strategies that I was doing myself when I was starting. And it's still the same types of strategies that I employ to this day to track down new products from my Amazon store. But obviously the sourcing analysis component pillar is probably the most important pillar there is because without it, we don't have a business. So I'm going to go very in depth into that in this video. And not only that, I'm going to actually give you a proper routine that you can follow every single day to guarantee that you actually hit 100K revenue. The types of tools I use and how to fully scale your store, because you should never expect to do 100K your very first month, even your second month. But once you establish a system, there's no reason you can't just input additional capital to get there with literally the exact same system that you use to get to your first 10K. And that is exactly what I did. I literally took out, so when I originally scaled my store, I got right around to about 60K by my 6th month. 7th month, I did it again. 8th month, I did about 80K. And then from there, I hit $130,000. Literally, it was the same types of products I was buying, the exact same sourcing method. The only difference was I inputted more money. So the system literally works the same at 40K as it does at 100K, literally as it does at 10K. It just depends how much you're inputting in terms of capital. So before we really get into it, let's go over some of the different business models that we can do on Amazon. More importantly, you have your RA, your OA, you have your wholesale. Now, here's what I recommend for any new seller. RA is good if you have like no capital, you have under $1,000. I'd probably just start there. But if you have anything more than 2,000, online arbitrage is what you want to do. Wholesale, honestly, I do not recommend for any new seller. I don't care if you have $100,000 spent on product. You're going to inevitably make mistakes. So you might as well make smaller mistakes with OA where you can at least return the items, or if anything, you're only buying small quantities. Whereas wholesale, you're running a whole different game. You're spending so much more money on product. If you make a mistake, you can't just return products to your wholesaler. It's not how it works. So no matter what, I think the best business to start with is either RA or OA. And in my opinion, getting to 100K revenue is way easier with online arbitrage than it is with wholesale. Now, if you want to really scale your store to 500K, $1 million a month, then that you would probably want to do the wholesale, right? This is like a different ballpark that you're looking at when you're starting. So in my opinion, OA by far, and again, this is what I talk about on my videos. This is for sure, in my opinion, the easiest way to have a really, really good margin Amazon store while still making a lot of money and still doing a lot of volume, because we can actually order the products to our house or to a prep center. So we don't have to go sit and source through stores all day long. We can actually build a sustainable, reliable business model, simply reselling products that we're buying online. And again, if you really want to scale to $1 million a month, then yeah, wholesale probably would be a good route to get there outside of that. Now, here's some more info on capital. Again, I really just recommend you do OA when you're starting out. Now, obviously, we need to go a little bit deep into some more capital stuff and what's really required. But first things first, I'm going to actually talk about that when I begin the scaling process. Right now, I want to show you how to actually source inventory for your Amazon store and the easiest way to do so as a brand new seller. So you guys should know by now, reverse sourcing, I talk about this all the time, but I actually want to show you more in depth on how to reverse source and how to actually analyze products. Reverse sourcing, essentially what it is we're looking to see what other people are selling. If they can sell it to make money on it, then there's no reason that we can't either. Now, this product right here is a good product to start on because it is branded Goodfellow. If you don't already know, Goodfellow is actually owned by Target. So they're the ones that are making this product, which means that people selling it have to be buying this product from Target. This means they have other products from Target or Walmart or somewhere online. They're doing the online arbitrage model, which gives us an area to actually look through, right? I can use this product to find new potential products to sell. Now, this product obviously is not a good product right now. It looks like it's $15.64 for us to buy. And at the current sale price, lowest FBA at $27, which actually we could definitely sell this for more. We could definitely sell this at least at $29.97. Right now it's $30. It's still not really a good product. But doesn't mean it's not a good product to start on for us, right? It's still an arbitrage product. We're still going to find some good sellers in here. Now, if we look at this chart here to analyze, I want to give you a brief overview because this is obviously super, super important when you're sourcing is once you find an item, you have to properly analyze it. So for quick context, the pink line up here is where the current sale price is happening. That's really the only thing I care about, price. I don't care about these other little things here. I'm literally only looking at the price because this is what we care about on the top here. When you see these little peaks here, you can see that there's people selling at $30, people selling at $25. So obviously us being the sellers, we want to be pricing up here at the high points because they're happening, right? There's clearly sales happening. And looking at this item's history, it looks like it's pretty consistent all year. And it looks like we dropped here at one point down to $24. But usually there's an explanation as to why that happened, which is the next part of this graph, which is actually the offer count right here. Right? Typically what you're going to see is as the offers go up, price comes down. As offers go down, price goes up. And if you look at this chart, it's clear as day. Price up here is stable, and then the offers come up. Price drops a little bit. As the offers fall, price slowly hovers back up, and we remain consistent for a little bit. As the offers go up again, we do drop in price. As the offers are falling, we do actually end up going back up in price. Now, this could have been, right, the offers could have dropped pretty hard here because also this middle column is how fast the product's selling, which is this yellow line, right? It was selling way quicker here during Christmas time. Makes sense. It was Christmas time, and that's probably why we saw a drop off in offers. Now, as this price, right, as this monthly sold starts to trend back down, I would suspect that this actually might not be selling through as fast as we want it to, and this price might actually not trend back up. Yeah, the offers are falling, but it was probably falling because it was selling fast, and now that it's not selling as fast, it's going to be falling much slower, so we might not see a big spike in the offer or in the price, making this a good product to buy today. Right, so what I'm looking for is always a shrinking offer count, which this does display a shrinking offer count. I would just be a little bit concerned here because we still have a good amount of offers, and it doesn't look like we're selling like nearly as fast anymore, right? As the offer count started, or as the monthly sold started to drop, we're selling slower. It looks like the offers are starting to fall a little bit slower than they were back here, which again, to me, just indicates that this could potentially be a little bit risky. Especially when I consider the fact that we're not really profitable here, right? So obviously you can't analyze a product until you have it at a profitable price. You know, this is pretty common sense. It should be at least, right? The way we analyze a product is very different if we're making 20% or if we're making 100%, right? I have a very loose analysis criteria if that's the case. But obviously this is very important here, knowing how to properly analyze this. Just know, if you could take one thing away from this video, as the offers go up, price comes down. As the offers go down, price goes up. And that's what you're going to see on all arbitrage listings. And that's what you want to see. You want to see offers going up and down because this means that everyone's happily selling it. There's no issues with the listing. There's plenty of sales happening. And that's, again, what we're looking for as arbitrage sellers. We actually don't want to sell on listings that only have 2 offers on them. That is way too risky. Think to yourself, if you found it profitably, why can't anyone else? There's probably a reason to it, and it's probably a risky product to sell on. Whereas this looks great. This is very healthy. It's good to sell under, and there's no issues here with this product. So that is a quick crash course analysis here. This is very important to getting to 100K because obviously we want to be buying products at good margins that are actually going to stay profitable. So that's equally as important as sourcing. But I want to touch on sourcing now because we're going to use SellerM to actually source for us. Not for us, but we're going to use it as a tool to source off of. So what I'm looking for when I'm sourcing, right, I scroll down to the offers tab and I want to see these other competitors here. And essentially I like to source off of FBA sellers that have a good amount of reviews. So this seller has 62. 13, 64. I'm going to go ahead and open up some of these different stores and actually start sourcing off of them and seeing what other kind of products they sell. So Amazon or Seller Amp is really nice. It displays all the products here. We can see a quick look at the chart. We can see the different offers. We can see what our minimum price is, the different categories, the brands. And now essentially we're going through these products, trying to source them. And obviously over time, you start to learn what brands you like, what brands you don't like. So I don't like selling clothing. I don't even look into products like this, right? I don't like any of these shoes. None of these things here I'm even looking into. Even this duffel bag here, for example, like I just don't like selling Nike. None of these things I like, right? Whereas you as a new seller have to kind of learn what you like. For me, this seller right off the bat, even toys I'm not a really big fan of. Right off the bat, I just don't like what I'm seeing. So for me personally, right, when you look at this, they have 46 pieces of clothing and barely any other categories. I'm just going to move on from this seller and move on to someone else. Okay. Same with this one. Again, more clothing here, a lot of clothing. They have some other grocery products potentially as well. So maybe want to look through it. I don't mind selling socks, actually. Socks isn't too bad of a category. There's not nearly as many returns as there is with these other products. So that's something that, again, is something that I've just established on my own that I actually like looking into. So I would actually click here, see what our target price is, do a very quick search and see if this is profitable. And looks like this might be here as a 14 pack. This is also a 14 pack, size 4 to 9. Looks like this might be it right here for $9.08. So if this is the same product, this would be profitable right here. Let's go ahead and open it up and take a quick look. And it does look like this is size 9 to 12. We need the size 9 to 12 here. So we're paying $9.08. This looks like it will be the same product at $9.08. Again, very profitable. So what I can do here is buy this for $9.08, but I also can go ahead and get a discounted gift card. So this is another way we're going to bake in some additional margin into our products that we're buying. I'm going to go to Cardbear, and I see that Walmart actually has 11% off discounted gift cards right here. So real quick, I can go back to my Amazon account, and now that I know I'm paying $9.08, plus I'm getting a 10% or 11% discount, I can actually multiply this by 0.089, which is just going to give us that 11% discount that we're getting from the discounted gift card. And there we go. We're saving an extra $1 on every single purchase. So now we're making 108% ROI. Right, so if I'm looking at this item we sourced profitably, only reason we found it is because we started on a product like this, that's an arbitrage product. We found a seller that's likely doing arbitrage. I found a product that I personally don't mind selling. I don't mind, socks, but I skipped over the other things that I don't like to sell, right? I don't ever source Nike or Puma, but this Avia brand is a smaller brand that I would look into, so I did. And what do you know is profitable? Now, I obviously found this quick and I sifted through products because I have been sourcing for 3+ years and I'm very good at sourcing. You have to understand that as a new seller, you're not going to be able to find these as quick. But as I talk about more the scaling process, I will kind of walk through of what you should actually be shooting for every day to help you hit the goals, but also kind of keep something more realistic in mind, okay? But if I'm sourcing, I find this, and I see an item like this, I'd probably go ahead and order about 15 to 20 units of this because, again, there's not that many offers here. It's actually very, very low amount of offers, but it's also not really selling the quickest. It's selling less than 50, so I'd want to keep that in mind. Obviously, we don't want to over leverage, and I want to move through this within a 30-day period. So honestly, maybe even 10 to 15 units I'd buy here, and this would be about $80 to about $120 worth of spend. And again, I'm going to touch a little bit more on this when I talk about the scaling pillar, how to actually track all this to hit your 100K revenue. But this would just be one item inside your catalog, right, that we found pretty quick with this simple method right here. And again, we're baking additional margin in here because we're getting that discounted gift card. So always look into those when you're sourcing as well. Now, again, the reason I talk about this ROI here is because since we're making so much money on this, when you go to analyze the product, you're going to have a much looser analysis because we're making so much money. I am okay with selling this at $22. This is still good for me. It's good ROI. I'm even okay with selling this at $21. It's just knowing that the day that you buy it, if this is what you're looking at and you only have this much ROI here today at the current price, you have to have a much stricter analysis because you don't have that benefit of having that additional margin in there to account for any drop in price. Whereas at today's price, we do. So I can have a very loose criteria, very loose analysis, and that's how you have to be analyzing products. And that is why you shouldn't be analyzing products until you actually get your cost price, because then you can actually do a real proper analysis. But now that I found this item here profitably, I grow lots of confidence. This seller clearly is doing something right here. And actually, look, here's another product potentially. It's the exact same type of product, just in a 6-pack. Now that I know that Walmart has this one, I also know that Walmart probably also has this one potentially for profitable price too. And it looks like this is the Cushion no show liner socks. Maybe it's this one right here, 6-pack, size 49, looks like $7.97. And if this is the right one, again, same thing here, right? I'm already factoring the discounted gift card because I've already found it once, so I can smooth out this process. And this also is profitable, right? This goes to show that you find one brand, there's always going to be more products in that brand that are also profitable. And this is that example. And as you can see, we begin to use context clues to speed up sourcing. And this is very important. And I want this to be as like the headline of sourcing for this video. You have to be sourcing efficiently. You have to use context clues. And if I've once found out that this website has this deal, you should always be factoring that deal to your buys. If you know this website always has 10% discounted gift cards, you should always be automatically factoring those in to here to speed it up and get your true numbers to help you source. You have to look through as many products as possible in the shortest amount of time. That's going to allow you to find more products quicker. It just makes sense. So like nowadays, you know, when I'm sourcing, I'm literally just jumping to brands that I know of because again, I've just been doing this for so long. You get that that ability to do that once you've been in the game for a long time, and that just comes with experience. But this is how I learned the market. I literally only did this method for my very first year and a half. This got me to over 7 figures in sales and over $130,000 a month on Amazon, was literally just from this method alone. So you don't need no complicated method. This will get you there. You just have to put the time in to really learn it. And that is going to take some time. Okay. Obviously, like I said, you want to make money with Amazon. It's going to take a lot of work. So obviously that's sourcing. Tools are also very important. Now, the way you price your products, you want to just go ahead and utilize Aura because there's a lot of different things that go into buy box. And I actually made a really in-depth video on all this buy box stuff and what goes into getting buy box. So I'm not going to go ahead and go over this again, but just know once your items are checked into FBA, that's the most priority is having quick shipping. So obviously you just have to wait for items to get checked in. The next most important factor is your price. And then the third one, which honestly isn't super important for arbitrage listings because no one really has a whole bunch of stock. That would be your third option. And when you get into wholesale, this is a very important component. For OA, it's really not because no one, again, really has crazy amount of stock. So you don't really have to worry about this too often. And if you do, then those are probably listings you shouldn't even be selling on because it's just you shouldn't be competing against people that are really large sellers like that. But again, if you want to solve this whole issue here, get Aura. It's the repricer. It's the one that I recommend. And Aura will solve all your problems for repricing. So if you already have more than 5 ASINs on your store, you should be utilizing this repricer. You should turn on the Maven rule and just let it run. You will make more sales. You will make more money. To give you an example of what Aura can do, I've had this product on my store. I no longer sell it, but I used to sell it for about a year. And it was this drill bit set that always sold at $40, okay? Flat. $40 is what the price was. And every single day I would capture sales at $60, $70, randomly. And that is literally all just Aura. So you can see how quickly it's going to boost your margin by implementing it. And again, it's $27 for a new seller that has less than 10K revenue a month. It is well worth it. You need it. And then it's $100 a month, but it literally makes you so much more money. This is a no-brainer tool that every single seller needs when you're really trying to scale. You're not going to get to 100K without Aura. And if you do, you could have got there quicker just by using it. Seller board is another tool, right? This is what I use to manage my restocking. So when I sell through an item, I have to look at seller board metrics, make sure that it is profitable after shipping, after returns. Seller board gives you the whole breakdown there. So it's a very important tool that I use. It also tells you how much money you're making. So obviously that's important there. And another tool that I implemented, not really a tool, but like my first hire was a virtual assistant. So I hired my virtual assistant in August. So I think it was the 3rd or 4th month. I got her very fast and it made my life so much easier because when I get into this next phase here, the scaling phase, having a VA just made that whole process so much more smooth and so much better. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that as you're scaling, you really look into getting a VA because it's super important for your business. You need a good SOP for VAs. This is for all my students that they're able to get access to. But essentially what the steps you want to do, you have your job application, okay? You post job application on JobsPH. You vet them out properly, right? You get a lot of applicants. You get them on a Zoom with them. You quickly vet them out. The way that we do it is we give them like a product finder search to go through and make sure they're pulling products from that actual search. That way, if they're not pulling it from the search, that means they're probably pulling it from a leads list and we can automatically get rid of them. So that is just one way that we really vet VAs that we bring on, and then you hire them, you pay them. Typically you're paying about $150 to $200 every other week for them. That's just pretty standard pricing, or pay that you pay. And it is a huge component to your business. It is very, very important as you're scaling. It's that tool process. And then when we jump into scaling, this is essentially how you want to be doing it. And this is what I recommend to anybody that's looking to scale. Okay. This is important. So you cannot look at a product on a product per product basis for online arbitrage, for RA, for wholesale, for any business. You have to look at it as a whole store. You can never get attached to one product because you're not probably going to have a product that's making you 10K a month. You're probably not going to have a product that's making you 4K a month. You might, they're going to come up over time, but in general, most products on your store might only make you $200 a month, $1,000 a month, $100 a month, $50 a month, but it's the overall aspect of it that's making your money, right? So if you want to make 15K profit, you're probably selling through a lot of different ASINs, and that's okay because this actually gives you that sustainability, because if one product goes bad, you're not losing half your revenue and half your profit. If one product goes bad, it's not a big deal. You can swap it in with something else that you find or that your VA finds. Okay, so essentially, let's go to some numbers to get to 100K. You have to be spending about $50,000 to make 100K revenue to probably produce you 15 to 25K profit. That's just the reality of it. That's what you have to be spending. Now, again, I don't expect you to get there in your second month or third month, but like as you scale up month 5, month 6, month 7, you can start leveraging business credit cards, loans if you want, and you can really get access to that money because you have the proof of concept already. You input that money into the products that you're already buying or that your VA is sending you or that you're sourcing because now you're really good at sourcing, and boom, you're spending that money, you're producing that income. And that's really how you do that with an Amazon business like this. Now, again, we're not just putting 50K up for grabs. We're buying products that are proven, tested. We analyze them properly. They're always going to sell. Typically, your worst case scenario with online arbitrage is it sells slower than you want it to, or you break even on it, or you return it. Okay, like there's no reason that you're ever going to lose that money fully, unless as long as you're playing by Amazon's rules. Make sure that you're doing that, and you look at their TOS, and you're only buying from reputable sources. And anything online like your Walmart, Costco, Target, these are all reputable sources that if you ever get a Section 3 will be sufficient information to get off that account. It's where people that buy from overseas or from sketchy wholesalers, they're the ones that you hear the horror stories from where they don't get their accounts back, is because they're doing things that are against Amazon's TOS. Okay, buying products from Walmart that's sold by Walmart is obviously authentic product. Walmart doesn't sell fakes. So those invoices and receipts will always work if you ever need them. Okay, but as you're scaling, what you have to do here, let's grab my calculator. So if we need to spend $50,000, let's just break it down in a daily spend. So you need to be spending about $1,500 to $1,700 every single day on product. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but obviously as you're scaling up, you're obviously not doing this your first month, but as you scale up, this gets really easy because now let's just say we have to spend $1,600 every single day. Okay. Now you have a VA. Your VA sends you 10 products and you buy 3 of them. So let's just say out of your VA's products, you spend about $800 on new products. Okay, now you're left with another $800 to spend, but you can go ahead and replenish some products that you bought before. So now let's say you spend $600 on replenishing some items from yesterday that you sold, and now you're left with $200. You sit down, you source one product, you hit that, and now you spend your $1,600 for the day. You move on to the next day, repeat. Right? So this gets really, really easy when a lot of that money is going to replens. And you're obviously spending way more when you're replenishing because now you're not doing a test order. Now you're not spending $100, but now you're spending $1,000 on a product because you've already tested it. You sold through quick. The data looks good. And Amazon really, really just runs on its own. And even this portion of spending money and deciding what to buy, you can even outsource to a VA if you want to. But this is still that one component that you have access to and that you can decide what to do. But this is when you really begin to work on your margins, is when you get to have this big nest of products to be buying here. You have old listings that you're buying, new products you're buying, your VA's buying, and here's your overall catalog right here. And this is where your income is coming from. Now, I know I went over a lot of things, and yeah, there's a lot of things that go into really building an Amazon business to get to 6 figures. This is some big numbers. This is a lot of profit coming in. So it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time to get there. If you want my help implementing all of this, you want me to help you source, you can't find products, you want proven methods to find products daily, you need SOPs for VAs, you literally want me to just build your Amazon business with you, I have a one-to-one coaching program. There's a link down below, booking a call. I'll run you through what that looks like. If it's a good fit, then we'll get started ASAP. But this is only for people that are committed to making Amazon work. You can't just be spending an hour a week doing this. It's not going to work. And this should go without saying, you obviously need capital to supply the inventory that we're going to be buying. I've helped well over 200 people by now start their Amazon business. Have some people doing over 6 figures a month. The system works, but those people work extremely hard. If that sounds like something that you want to get into, again, booking a call down below. I'll run you through that. Also, let me know down below what you guys want to see from me next. Bye for now.